Aloha, welcome back. We got the real Dim Shady here. Streets flooded with colossal anti-Trump protests. So DEMINEM these days gets everything just about wrong. So let's see how wrong he is here.
Trump officially got so when Trump officially got his second term, I remember having a disagreement with Crystal. She felt like, hey, there ain't gonna be no resistance this time around, right? People are beaten down, they're tired. It's just gonna be like a meek submission, like a nebbish giving up that we're gonna witness.
Like
And
Hakeem Jeffries.
I felt like the opposite. I felt like there's no way that that's the case because Trump, his third campaign was literally his most unhinged and idiotic of all of his campaigns. And I just don't buy it that this colossal chunk of the country, well over 50%, is going to sit back and be like, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Psycho Dictator Man. You do whatever you want. Now, early on, it looked like she was right because you just didn't see much. You didn't see much in terms of fighting back against him, especially when it comes to the politicians, right? I mean, there was nothing,
Well, you still don't see nothing much fighting back from the politicians. Maybe a little word salad here and there, but no real fight, no real nothing.
bro. There was nothing. In fact, it was like Fetterman would come out every other day and gargle Trump's nuts. And then you'd have a bunch of Democratic congressmen come out and say, I'm joining the Doge caucus in Congress and stuff like that.
Right, and so with all this, he's still going to tell you to vote Democrat, vote blue no matter who.
And I remember looking at it like, holy shit, Crystal was 100% right. But thankfully, it didn't take long for the grassroots to kick in.
So when the grassroots kicked in and started calling the Democratic Party got mad at the grassroots and started bitching about it, saying they're bothering us or whatever. Like we did the video on it yesterday or the day before with the lady from Move On. It's so goofy. And then vote for the Democrats.
Right? So in a sense, we were both right. She was right that the politicians did have that nebbish, meek reaction, and many of them have just like given up and agreed, like, yeah, whatever, it's the Trump era, so I guess we got to find a way to work with them. But the grassroots now, oh my God, they've come to life. And it didn't take long. And the reason I think you're seeing this reaction now is because Trump's a maniac. I mean, he's just a maniac. This is already significantly worse than this point in his first term. The fact that he's openly talking about stealing Greenland, warmongering with Greenland and Denmark and Panama, saying we're going to steal Panama, warmongering with Mexico and Iran, snuggling up to Netanyahu. And this is just foreign policy stuff. I haven't even talked about the domestic policy.
Why would he say snuggling up to Netanyahu? How is that any different than Joe Biden or any other Democratic president? Everybody snuggles up to Netanyahu. And then, taking all these countries, like I said in a couple of videos before, I would like a one world thing. Like everybody be together on the same plan, one world, going into outer space, doing things like that, Star Trek and all that, right? So eventually, we do need to kind of grow, but again, not imperialist style, a way that like, oh, Greenland, like China's doing, building the Belt and Road, things like that. If we want to work with Greenland, just build some stuff there, ask them what they need, build them some stuff, and say, hey, for this port, we want some good trade or whatever. Like you don't need to do it in an imperialist way. Like I don't know that Trump is really going to try to go to war with Greenland. I think he's being hyperbolic, but I think that like saying, oh, Canada, we should be one big country, and Mexico too, we should just be the big continent of North America, and then saying, hey, South America, we should just be the United Americas or whatever, and then go from there, but not in an imperialistic way.
Policy stuff, which is equally as insane. But now, thankfully, the cavalry has arrived. So take a look at this, man. So
And this is not Democrats. 51 is actual progressives, and a lot of the Green parties in the different states are the ones backing this. And see, that's why a lot of people are like, oh, the Green Party never does nothing. The Green Party never does nothing. He's going to now give credit to the Democrats like they're doing this when this is more Green Party than Democrats for show. Like this is actual progressives and left-wingers, not Democrats.
this is in the New Republic. Anti-Trump 50501 or 5051 protests break out across the country. Protests against Donald Trump and Elon Musk took place nationwide on President's Day. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. Thousands of protesters gathered at different cities across the country Monday to declare President's Day as No King's Day in protest of the unlawful actions of President Donald Trump and Elon Musk to upend the federal government. I have some video for you in a second of just how big these protests were. The swaths of protests were organized by the 5051 movement, a name which refers to 50 protests in 50 states on one day. The group, which originated on social media, previously planned a series of demonstrations that took place earlier this month in response to Musk and Trump's early efforts to overhaul the federal government. Since then,
and a lot of DSA too. I mean, not to give all the credit to the Green Party, but it's a lot of the DSA, PSL. It's a lot of the actual progressives, and I'm sure there might have been a little bit of Democrat help there, but they didn't help throw it quite as much as I'm sure they're going to try to take credit
duo
for.
Have only continued their plot to cut popular federal programs and launch mass firings of federal employees. In Washington, D.C., thousands of people gathered around the reflecting pool beside the U.S. Capitol. "Hey, Congress, grow a spine," they shouted, according to independent journalist Alejandro Alvarez. So this is just, you can see how many people there are here. There's a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people. Alvarez wrote that it was likely the largest demonstration to take place in the Capitol since Trump was inaugurated last month. Other protests took place across the country, from Augusta, Maine, to Portland, Oregon, to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to Orlando, Florida. In New York City, a video from Freedom News TV showed thousands of protesters marching through Lower Manhattan cheering, "Stop the coup." Here's what that looked like. In Boston, Massachusetts, nearly 1,000 people marched through the below freezing temperature shouting, "No kings on President's Day." So, again, I got some footage here for you. This one is from New York City.
Why are you not investing in...
That's a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people right there.
A lot of people.
So, there's a reason. Doesn't that sort of look like a Nintendo controller, the top of this building? Right? Doesn't it? But there's a reason for hope. There's a reason for hope. But, you're not alone. If you're sitting there and going, what the fuck is going on?
There's a reason for hope. So we had hope and change from 2008 to 2016. We had Bernie Sanders' big movement, 2008 to 2000. Yeah. Bernie Sanders movement in 2016 and 2020. Democratic Party kills all that. Democratic Party will kill your hope. If you have hope and you want to keep your hope alive, there's really only one place for you to go.
Building, right? Doesn't it? But there's a reason for hope. There's a reason for hope. But, you're not alone. If you're sitting there and going, what the fuck is going on? You're not alone.
You see how big Bernie's movement was, right? The Democrats can kill a movement that big. You put all your hope, all your dreams, all this power, you put it behind the Democratic Party with DEMINEM, they're just going to squash it again and again and again, like they've done at least 3 times in the past 5 elections, right? Yeah, 3 times in the past 5 elections, they've killed movements.
In fact, that's the majority perspective that people have. So that's a large protest in New York. Here, let's go to this one. Oh, this one's also New York. I'm going to go back to the D.C. one in a second because I'm interested in that one, but look at this. Again, that's a lot of fucking people, bro. That's a lot of people. We cannot let this fizzle out.
Looks like right there. Right there.
So he said we cannot let this fizzle out. Okay. How big was it in 2016? How big was it in 2020? How big was it in 2008? Again, 3 out of the last 5 elections, we've had big, populist, left-wing movements that the Democratic Party just squashed. Very easily squashed us. It was not hard for them to push us to the side and break us apart, break us up, make us stop, right? If we got this kind of effort in the Green Party, we wouldn't break it up. We would foster it. We would ask you for more. We would want this. It makes absolutely no sense to put this much effort into a party you know will just kick you off the door, kick you down the steps, whatever bad analogy I'm trying to look for.
Okay, so literally it was like a day or 2 later, by the way. This is what Trump said.
reestablishes the longstanding norm that only the president or the attorney general can speak for the United States when stating an opinion as to what the law is.
What?
So in other words, they're protesting, hey, we don't have kings in this country. And within a couple days, he comes out and says, only the president and the attorney general can determine what the law is. In other words, giant middle finger,
That's the
giant
judiciary,
FU
right?
to the courts.
Yeah.
So he's basically stating the exact opposite of what these protesters are saying. So guys, we got to keep this energy up. Here, let's look at, I'm curious to look at this one. This is the New York City one.
So he wants you to keep this energy up,
DC.
to vote blue no matter who. So they get into office and do absolutely nothing. They pass Romney care rather than universal health care. Make Congress grow a spine, is that what we're saying? Hey, Congress, grow a spine.
Yeah, they're telling Congress to grow a spine. Jail, Elon, you see some of the signs.
So, I mean, imagine all these people, all this energy going to a party that wants it
No
and
one
will
voted for Elon
foster
Musk.
it. It's crazy.
Guys,
like,
this is
these
a big
people-
deal. Shout out to the...
it's so hard to grow a third party. Oh my gosh, it's impossible. Dude, just come on over. Use all this energy, go to the third party. Just do it for the next 2 years. See if in the midterms we can do some like green attack and just take over. And then, if it works, let's get the presidency. If it doesn't work, vote blue for the presidency if you must. Vote green down ballot. And let's just keep going. Like, this would be fostered by the Green Party, wanted by the Green Party, pushed. A lot of these people could run in the Green Party. We don't need these Stephen A. Smiths and Donald Trumps and Arnold Schwarzeneggers, all these rich people just running for office. Just rich people controlling us. I'm tired of rich people controlling us. They don't go grocery shopping. They don't understand. Look up Dr. Oz grocery shopping. It's insane. He tries to go to the grocery store without even a basket. He's trying to hold this stuff and get crudité. Like, who the hell knows what crudité is? We all do now because of him, or anybody who watches. As I ramble. Anyway.
50-51 people. Shout out to everybody who showed up to...
Oh yeah, energy in the Green Party. This is
the
50-51 people. They're more progressive than the Democrats.
Guys, this is a big deal. Shout out to the 50-51 people. Shout out to everybody who showed up to protest. Everybody needs to keep doing their part. And this matters. When you have this much energy bubbling up from the grassroots, there is a tipping point where that becomes completely and utterly undeniable. And we've seen it throughout history, right? Look at the civil rights movement, for example. When the fervor hits a boiling point, like, they can only tamp down the will of the American public for so long before there has to be, something's got to give, right? Something's got to give. And what we're seeing now is not only all these people in the streets, but we just spoke to the Move On.
While DEMINEM is going to keep telling you to do the same thing, something's got to give. Let's change.
Director. Remember, Hakeem Jeffries went after the Move On director and the Indivisible director because there's a lot of phone calls that Hakeem is now getting from the Democratic grassroots being like, hey, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you fighting? What's your plan? How do you move forward? Like, what are you doing? And so there's been thousands, probably tens of thousands of phone calls now. And so you awakened a sleeping giant. Because here's the thing, guys. The intelligent dictators, what they do is a piecemeal approach, right?
I've heard him say this on a couple shows now.
And then, maybe a year later, there's a little bit of a tweak to this one over here. And it's a slow but sure takeover.
Donald
What we're
Trump's just
witnessing
going
here
all
with Trump
in right
and Elon
away.
is not that. They are moving at breakneck speed. They're moving probably faster than almost anybody in history here, with the absolute destruction of the regulatory state and the administrative state, firing everybody in sight. Elon Musk is getting $20 billion from the U.S. government at the same time he's slashing cancer research for kids at the National Institute of Health.
Elon Musk has been getting subsidies from the government for the last 10, 15 years? Like, that's one of the big things people on the left say is, oh, if you guys are all worried about welfare queens, what about Elon Musk? It's no different.
You can only go so far.
He might be getting
so
a little
fast.
more now, and he's getting a little more say. But what's his name? Bill Gates got a whole lot of say in our children's education back in the early aughts, the early 2000s or whatever, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, and the teens and whatnot. There's articles and stuff about it where he even apologized because he was saying he didn't take into teachers' consideration enough or whatnot. So, and I think that was under Democrats. But I mean, look it up, Bill Gates, the education system and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure he's done a video or two on it. So it doesn't make any difference if it's a Democrat or Republican. The corporations get their say; they're in control, and he knows that.
Before, everybody goes, whoa, 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 what the fuck? And by the way, without a doubt, this has electoral consequences. Without a doubt. If you are effectively, they've already allegedly fired about 250,000 federal workers completely illegally, completely unconstitutionally. They're causing mass chaos.
And again, why are you firing all these people when we're supposed to be creating jobs? I don't get it. Like, why wouldn't you at least be converting their useless job to a useful job, right? Like, aren't we supposed to be job creators, you said? Like, that's what Trump is supposed to be doing, getting Americans good jobs and stuff.
You think that doesn't lead to a backlash? You're literally witnessing the backlash right now, but this is not even the next election, for example. They're going to be putting up, Democrats going to be putting up FDR numbers just by virtue of the fact that they're not fucking Republicans.
Backlash. Democrats are not backlash to Republicans. It's a back and forth, but they're playing they're doing a dance. They're on the same team. Backlash would be DSA, Green Party, PSL, any socialist, communist, or even the libertarians. But Democrat or Republican, that dance is not a backlash, my dude.
Republicans based on the insanity of what this administration is doing. You're going to fire the people who oversee our nuclear weapons, and you don't even realize what the fuck you did? You're going to let
funny.
Doge 19-year-old hackers get into the energy department where they keep our nuclear information. Meanwhile, these people are completely unvetted, no background checks whatsoever. You're going to destroy the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the anti-scam police, who returned money to defrauded Americans from big banks to the tune of $20 billion, and they helped over 200 million Americans. To take everything good about our government and shred it instantly, the idea that you think you can get away with that and still be viewed as some sort of a hero is comical. It is comical. So keep the phone calls up. Don't stop with that. That energy matters. That energy does something. That energy makes people, it lights a fire under their fucking ass to get to work, right? Keep making those.
Light a fire into Hakeem Jeffries, him and all his no power leadership of the Democrats.
Phone calls. Keep getting out there and protesting. We're going to do a segment tomorrow on exactly how to target.
Man, if he was really a progressive, why would he tell you to keep calling Democrats? It makes absolutely no sense. This is the perfect time to build a progressive party. Democrats have no leadership, plus they're not progressive. The Republicans are just gone crazy, right? They're off the rails. Donald Trump is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, right? So if all this is true and the Democrats are so weak and feckless right now, this would be the time for YouTube leftists, YouTube progressives, to call the leaders of all these parties, Green or DSA, PSL, and say, "Hey, look, we're gonna push all of you guys on our show. We're gonna make you guys famous. We're gonna get you guys in front of everybody, and we're gonna get you voted into office right now. While the Democrats suck, and we'll get real left-wing progressives into office everywhere throughout all 50 states." But no, we're gonna put another Bernie Sanders movement into the Democratic Party and have them kill it. What is the point of that? How is that not insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. It's nuts. And then, if you know about FDR and Henry Wallace, they did it back then. And it was like 1930, 32 or 36. Henry Wallace was supposed to be, he was FDR's vice president the first 3 terms, and he was like this straight up communist, like left wing, like hippie dude. And FDR's 4th term, they wouldn't let, they did the presidency different back then. Like they got voted the vice president in during the, like that little party thing they have, what is it, the the Democratic convention, right? So they do it then, or back then they did it then. It wasn't like you ran together, but they made him put Henry Wallace off and bring in Truman because they knew that they could control Truman more. Truman was more of a conservative. But if Henry Wallace would have won, we'd be allies with Russia. We would have been allies with Russia back then for this whole time. And then when China came up, like in the 70s or whatever, whenever they were doing their industrial revolution type stuff, we would have just been allies with them. But we'd have been allies with the entire world. It would have been a totally different thing. And the Democrats stopped it back then. They've been doing it for almost 100 years, if not longer.
Elon Musk, because he is in a unique position where he has
Look up Henry Wallace,
vulnerabilities that we need
FDR's
to
vice
take advantage
president.
of. So we'll talk about that as well. And look, the other thing is you see this and you can't help but think, in the same way that there was like the Tea Party movement after Obama got elected in 2008, and you had this wave of like
Tea Party movement and the Republican Party took over, and then when they did well, the Republicans just kind of bought in. All right, I mean, you guys are doing good, you're winning elections, we'll ride with that. They took the power and they ran with it. The Democrats were like, oh, you guys are trying to take power now. They squash it.
fringe Republicans who very extremist, but that was the backlash to Obama winning on the right. Well, now you're getting the sense, you know, hey, look, I was one of the people who launched Justice Democrats to basically do the left-wing version of a Tea Party, right? But
And you
maybe
put it in the Democratic Party.
I just tried it a little too early, right? Maybe we just...
I just tried it a little too early. 2008 again. That was Barack Obama, Hope and Change. 2012 even. We thought, okay, the first 4 years you're just going to try to, you know, you don't do too crazy. You get your second term and then you go all out. All right, so I might even take 2012 because I still thought Obama was just like playing the game for the first term, that he was going to do the Hope and Change and do the universal health care, do all the stuff. The second term, no. 2016, that big Bernie, 2016, 2020, 2020, the second time Bernie. And he's going to talk about he was just too early. Again,
just missed by
the
a couple elections.
1930s, missed by one election. This dude is like, again, that's why I call him the real Dim Shady, right? Because you have to be shady to call yourself a progressive and then to push the Democrats like this. He knows better. He totally knows better.
The left-wing version of a Tea Party, right? But maybe I just tried it a little too early, right? Maybe
you
we
tried it
just
in the wrong
missed by
place.
a couple elections, and the real moment to
No, the bullseye is green, not blue. Are you serious? This dude, come on, DEMINEM, wake up. He could be such a... you could be an actual figure of history. If you push the Green Party and you help the Green Party win, these YouTube people, you guys could have your pages in the books of history or on the online web pages of history, whatever it's going to be. But you're pushing the Democratic Party and you're going to be nothing in history. Nothing is going to happen. You will have a little bit of a this and that. But if you actually push the FDR, the green, the thing that's going to change the actual world, you would have maybe even a statue. Like, I'm serious. Like, the Green Party is so much different than the Democratic Party.
Rise up, real leftists in government, in the model of
Jesus
Bernie
Christ.
Sanders.
No Democrat is a real leftist in government. They and if you are, they push you out.
Maybe now's that moment. Maybe now is when, because
No,
look,
it's
I've never
the
seen
place,
this
not the
before,
time.
where Democratic voters, one of our biggest hurdles is that Democratic voters trusted the media. They trusted the media. The Democratic base trusted the media. MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, etc. And so it made voices like mine seem like kind of marginal, right? Like, oh, he's just a fringe guy. Don't pay any attention to him. For the first time in my life, we are seeing a situation where Democrats...
And now, what if he would have been talking about the Green Party his whole time, and he'd have been right, and like actually like saying, "Oh, well, the Democrats aren't going to do this. You know, they're gonna kill Bernie's movement. We shouldn't make the Justice Democrats. We should make the Justice Greens or the Bernie for Greens or whatever." He would have been on the right side of history. He's sitting here keeping the funnel to the party that he knows is just gonna put out the match. They're gonna squash the flame. They're not going to help us out.
Democratic base voters are as distrustful of the media as Republican voters are. So Republicans, yes, they trust Fox News and Newsmax and One America News and those idiot networks. but they hate CNN, they hate MSNBC, they hate the New York Times, they hate the Washington Post. They have a colossal distrust of mainstream media. Now, for the first time in my life, Democratic-based voters are super distrustful of mainstream media. Morning Joe lost 60% of their viewership when they came out and said, hey, we had lunch with Trump, after they fucking called him Hitler before that, right? And so now there's a lane opening up. Now the so-called fringe voices, I would argue I'm not fringe at all. I would argue I'm very mainstream, but...
There you go. He said it himself. He would argue he's very mainstream. Mainstream would be centrist, probably liberal, not a progressive, not a leftist. So yeah, if you're in his audience and you think he's a progressive, he just told you that he's not. Okay, if you're just very mainstream and you're pushing the Democrats like this, he's not a populist, not a progressive, not a left-winger. Please listen to when they tell you who they are, listen to them.
Voices like mine and voices like yours and other people in this new media space are rising up in the sense that, oh, now the candidate of the people will be the next Bernie Sanders, right? It will be the one to...
The candidate of the people was Bernie Sanders. And what did the Democratic Party do to him twice? The candidate of the people at one time was Barack Obama. And Barack Obama was fake. And what did he do as a real Democrat? He just screwed us over, did nothing. Oh, universal health care, running on things like that, and gave us rounding care. Nonsense. The man of the people was Donald Trump, kind of to some people, and the Republicans at least back their man of the people. He can do all this deportation and slash this, slash that. In 2 weeks, do all this crazy stuff because the Republicans back their person. Whoever wins, all right, we'll back it. That's what the Republicans do. Democrats, they're like, oh, the people want this. Nah, we don't want that Hillary Clinton. People are like, nah, we ain't going to vote for her. So we get Donald Trump. Again, Bernie Sanders, nah, we ain't going to do that. We're going to put in Joe Biden. Trump is like, I don't know how to handle COVID. So the people are like, fine, we'll take Joe Biden. Joe Biden sucks. He's like weekend at Bernie's as the president, right? And so right after that, we go right back to Trump because there was no choice. Joe's going to run again, then he's dead on stage, and then they don't have a debate or nothing, no kind of choice for the people, no kind of voting, and so you just give it to Kamala, because we would have voted for Bernie Sanders probably if he'd have ran, but he probably wouldn't have ran then. But anyway, wake up, Kyle. It's not...
Fight MAGA and take them head on. And actually stand for something, have a vision for how to fix this country.
The Democrats don't stand for shit. Actually stand for something. Come to the Green Party. DSA,
the
PSL, left-wing coalition.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump, who are anarcho-capitalist extremists, right? You're gonna see the next person who rises up as a Democratic leader is gonna be somebody who's for universal health care, Medicare for all. They're going to be for getting money out of politics. They're going to be for the PRO Act to make sure everybody can join a union. They're going to be for higher wages. They're going to be for paid vacation time.
So now, even if they say that, Democrats have always said that. Nancy Pelosi got into office running on universal health care in the 80s or 90s. And what happened? Nothing. They're going to say exactly what you want to hear. They are going to stroke us like love. They're going to rub our feet and make us feel so good with their words, their tender, loving words. And if we do vote them into office, they're like, oh man, I can't do it because the progenitor, or I can't do it because the Republicans are blocking us, and Mitch McConnell's turtle's gonna snap at us. No, they're not gonna do nothing. They're gonna say everything that you want to hear and do none of it.
Going to be for all those good things so that we actually have a philosophy that answers to this right-wing extremism.
You just hurt my
Democrats
heart.
can no longer get away with standing for fucking nothing.
Yes, they
right?
can, and they will.
And so that distrust of mainstream...
Because of people like him is why they can and they will. You guys need to just pull your audience to the left. Or I guess, again, he said he's mainstream, right? So, I mean, if you're mainstream, centrist, liberal type of person, and you're listening to DEMINEM, then yeah, I guess the Democrats are for you. He admitted it, so I mean, I really can't say nothing to him. He is who he says he is, right?
Mainstream media among Democratic-based voters is huge, and that's why you see this, right? This is Democratic-based voters going, our institutions across the board have failed us. We got to rise up. So
again, so not to DEMINEM here, because he's obviously too far gone, but to his audience. The institutions have obviously failed you. The democratic institutions will fail you and repeatedly fail you and fail you and fail you. If you want something different, do something different.
Massive numbers in the streets. That's amazing. Keep it up. Keep it up. Massive number of phone calls. Keep that up too. That is super duper duper important. And the more people are politically.
So if you're mainstream, like the real Dim Shady here, keep calling the Democrats. If you're progressive or left wing, start calling the Green Party, DSA, PSL, and let's talk about a coalition. Let's bring them all together. I want a candidate at every spot that says Green slash DSL, or Green Party slash DSL, GP slash DSL, whatever it is. DSA. I don't know if I said DSL, DSA or PSL, but it's mostly going to be probably DSA, Green Party. PSL doesn't have as much of a brand, but we need to stop worrying about brands. It's not the brand, it's what we're doing. It's who we are. Are we progressive? Are we left wing? Are we the people first party? Yes. So just join the Green Party, forget the brand, whatever. Let's just go there. The Democrats, if you're liberal, if you're mainstream, you can stay there. That's cool, whatever. But if you're a progressive in the Democratic Party, just come to us, give it a go, see what happens.
Involved, the more people are engaged, the more pressure you bring about, the more we are undeniable, bro.
Speaking of engaged, I'm running for city board now. It's I just filled my application out today, and there's 3 spots open, and there's only 3 people running right now. I'm the 3rd person to run. So, and the deadline is Friday to fill out the application. So if nobody else fills out by Friday, I will obviously make it. But if another person fills out, hopefully I'll still make it. But we'll see. But yeah, getting active, all that, be involved, get in the Green Party. Let's do some things.
Oh, undeniable. And so this is a very welcome thing that we're witnessing here. Very, very welcome thing. And I don't think it's going to stop. Right? I think it's going to keep.
You don't think
I think it's going to be a snowball effect.
Okay. You don't think it's going to stop? It depends on where it goes. It'll run for maybe 2 or even 4 years. But then if it's in the Democratic Party, they show you they stop it. You saw it. Bernie Sanders, again, beating a dead horse. Bernie Sanders, they squashed it fast, quick, in a hurry, easily. It wasn't even hard for them to do it. They weren't even worried about it. They joked about it. It was just crazy for me anyway. It was crazy to watch. Like Bernie Sanders was going to change the world. He was going to change the United States for the better, which changing the United States and making it not an imperialist country would change the entire world. The Democrats don't want that. They want to be imperialist. They're going to stay this way. So,
because they are not slowing down, and every move they make is abysmal, is catastrophic, is disastrous, is horrendous. You have the world's richest man, this oligarch, billionaire, robber baron, ketamine addict, hypomanic freak, is now like the co-president, and actually in many respects he seems like he's above Trump. How much of that can people take when the world's richest man keeps giving himself billions of dollars in taxpayer money, but you're going to see massive cuts to Medicaid? They're going to gut Social Security. Just watch. Just watch. There's going to be a turning point. We're witnessing it. Hey.
Massive cuts to Medicaid. Barack Obama, with his supermajority, could have passed universal health care, could have codified it, made it made human health care, healthcare, universal healthcare, whatever you call it, could have made it a constitutional right. Didn't want to do it. Whenever the Democrats have power, they won't force the vote. They won't do nothing. When they have absolutely no power, that's when they want to cause a stink and say stuff because they know they can't get nothing done. So if you like that type of politics, all right, you see what they do. Now, go to the Green Party website. Check out our politics. Check out what we stand for. If you think what you stand for, if what we stand for is what you stand for, or vice versa, however you want to say it, join the Green Party. If you think the Democrats lack leadership, or you think the Green Party lacks leadership, call both parties and say, I want to help out with the leadership of your party, of our party, of this people-powered party. See what the Democratic Party says. See what the Green Party says. And that should be your answer right there, okay? So do these things and look at all your information from across the spectrum.